people know that there are voices, and we're standing up for just, America too, because they're trying to suppress our voices.
Well,
Like,
the
this is an American issue.
The Conservative Party would agree with you. We'd be more than happy to be a voice in this battle.
Yes, so
Because we already, in a real sense, we really already are.
Yes, of course.
We are, but I'm just saying to you that you can't be too loud on this, because as we're seeing, and I mean, just taking it over one level here, I mean, what is going on in Brooklyn with all these attacks on Hasidic?
Yes, they went to Borough Park.
But what is going on here? How is that happening?
They went, I have nothing against other people's belief, that's their choices. But they have invaded, I hate to, name the names of the people, but a couple of weeks ago, they came and invaded people in Borough Park because of the representative saying what he said about the situation in the Middle East.
So like
And
a
they
protest.
what?
You're saying like a protest.
Yeah, so they came and invaded Borough Park, and I loved, the beauty of, there was a tall rabbi with a white beard, and he was so angry, but what he said was, go away, go home. He was so angry. He didn't, be violent like maybe I would,
Well, I mean, but I mean, let's, all right.
But I would like to start, getting names and getting connected and finding a place in either Brighton Beach and get this kind of people together.
Yeah, we'll definitely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she brought up something that I was going to ask for. You mentioned that the Conservative Party is targeting the recruitment of millennials. Are you taking advantage of the Lexus and the walk-away, hashtag walk-away?
Well, we try, but that's, yes, the answer is yes. But what I'm saying is I hired someone to do millennials. I mean, the party has communicated on other levels forever, really. So, once again, it's a function of money. So I do what I can do, but sure, when I move around the state and give speeches, or we do use our social media accounts, you will see the things we talk about, and the things we talk about would be clearly a walk-away type position for a conservative Democrat. Remember,
If we could all come together in place that let people with newspapers and let people know that we're out there.
Well,
we don't.
Miss, if you could later on at the end of the meeting, come to me and
it's more of a variety type. But to your point, sure, and actually, we've had actually an increase in our enrollment over the last 2 years, which is more due to Mike Long, not me. But the point is, we have had an increase, percentage-wise, actually not bad, frankly. But it's statewide. It hasn't been in the city. Let's just say right now, it's statewide. We have increased by outside the city by about 4 or 5% in the last year and a half.
So what's going on with the city? Why can't we turn people over?
Well, we're not. We've almost. We have a lack of things happening. Today, in the city of New York, you are the event. This is the crowd. There's nothing else happening. Okay? I'm here, you're here, no one else is involved in anything today, anywhere in the city. Okay? Next weekend might be one other thing happening, So there's a Norwegian Day parade today in Bay Ridge, and there's no Norwegians, but there's no real activity happening there. I mean, with the party, there's no reference point there to the conservative or Republican parties. There needs to be. We just don't have. I'll be honest with you. If you see something and you start, let's say today you decided that you wanted to put a group of Republicans and conservatives together and have a Norwegian Day parade on a banner, which was easily arrangeable. You could make 100 phone calls and not get one person.
We were talking about that in reference to volunteers. It's difficult for them to come by.
But I mean, it's just going to continue. The answer to your question is it's just going to continue unless you have somebody that can drop a ton of money on it, which would obviously be somebody with their own agenda, and that's not going to happen. Or maybe we're not really looking for that to happen. We would have to have people that were more interested in the summer and spring and fall to stay in the city than go away to their summer homes, take a trip up to Bear Mountain, or do something that is non-political. People would have to have that same sort of vigilance and interest that we see in the Democratic movement. For me, what we're trying to do, like I said, in the Conservative Party, is hit what we would consider a sweet point, which could be millennial with the energy and interest, because they're planning to put in roots, and potentially want to see things a little different. Sometimes with individuals that have, you know, seen us rise and fall, they're out, their roots are out, and they're really thinking about the next place they're moving to. You know, so when a person is starting to begin to think about the next place they're moving to, whether it be that condo they've had in Boca, or that home they've had in the summer in Orange County, they are, you know, they begin to lose, or maybe even Breezy Point, they begin to lose their footing in their community to go out and do certain things. So to some degree, I believe we need a new crop.
So you mentioned non-political. This is not the first time that I'm hearing this, and perhaps one of the things that we need to push is the idea of having our members and other within the Facebook group get together and say, hey, I'm going to this event, XYZ, why don't we get a group of us going there? Not political, maybe just to, you know, see a movie, have a beer, have some pizza, whatever it is.
To the degree people want to do that, you know what, I mean, I've heard this now for 20 years. Basically, I'm trying to work with those that are interested and find new people that are interested. My patience for those who tell me they're interested and actually do nothing, because politics is a quantitative business. So, you know, you can figure it all out from the petitions to the events that people give money at, to who, you know, stands up on corners and hands out literature, to who joins me. So I'm a state chairman that's grassroots. I get more petition signatures than any person in the Conservative Party in Brooklyn. I go out every single day that I'm not traveling, petitioning. Every day. When I'm not traveling, I petition. I work all day and I go out all night. I obviously campaign. You will find me during the October and September at 8 a.m. through 1 o'clock in the afternoon, standing in front of some church in some part of Brooklyn every single week with other people from the Conservative Party. You will find me at every fundraiser I can get to, and I will, you know, make my contributions. My point is simply this, and that people don't have to duplicate me, but you got to figure it's not a one weekend in the year type activity. I mean, you know, it's a lot of stuff that's going on out there, and you got to apply yourself. And you know, 10 people like that can be very effective, more than me spending hours upon hours trying to find 20 people that I knew from 30 years ago that used to do something. So I mean, you know, so what I'm simply, but returning back to my original point, things are not all bad in this state. Almost every local government outside the city of New York is run by Republicans and conservatives. Although the larger cities are not, like Yonkers, the mid-sized cities are. The villages are, the towns are. Many of the bigger towns are around the state, like Brookhaven, which has 400,000 people, is an entirely Republican government.
Sounds like heaven.
Hempstead, which we lost the town supervisorship, has a Republican council. Hempstead has 900,000 people in it. And Congressman King's daughter, Sweeney, is the chairwoman of the town council, who obviously would be somebody you would think would be looking to do something else in the future. You know, so it's not that far from here.
He had a campaign last year.
Say again?
He had a campaign last
He
year.
had a campaign, but I'm talking about Pop.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the daughter.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm saying Peter might have had a campaign, but Peter will be there as long as he wants. But there will be someone after Peter, and I'm not suggesting you it'll be his daughter. I don't know what her plan is. What I am suggesting to you is there are people like that who actually you could even call in to come and potentially speak here. Because where do they live? They live 45 minutes from here.
Right.
So, you know, there is a lot of things happening that we need to rally around and have a bit more of a plan, as you're saying, so that the next time a Columbus Day parade happens in the Bronx, and the chairman, Randino, decides he wants to put a group together, and he's able to get his group, maybe some other people will show up from someplace nearby, or in Brooklyn, or Queens, Manhattan, Staten Island's, they continue to have their act together despite some setbacks last year.
Alan, next question.
Just a little something from people online. They're just asking if you could speak up a little bit more. So we have some viewers online.
Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Lawrence?
Internet land.
Hi, thanks for coming today.
You're very welcome.
You mentioned the importance of increasing our presence on social media,
Yes.
and there's no denying that because it is influencing people's votes. They get most of their news from social media now. It's unbelievable how powerful.
In all parts of it, because frankly, Instagram is really the way to go for individuals under the age of 35. And frankly, Snapchat, but that Snapchat's kind of a waste because if you snap it, it disappears.
I get it.
But I mean, but I'm saying if you're, if we were really trying to push ourselves on into the college campuses, we'd be on Snapchat.
Okay, but can you tell me, is Instagram, I don't know anything about Instagram, is it any better than Facebook regarding its...
But this is a sum zero world on social media. You go where they are.
Okay, but Zuckerberg can talk to Congress all he wants, say whatever he wants. It's undeniable that they are shadow banning, and otherwise just plain banning conservative voices. And they don't do anything to liberal voices. It's unbelievably biased.
Well, I mean, but here's the thing though, I put up conservative party messages all the time, and they're there.
But do you know they're getting seen?
No, they're there and getting seen, believe me, they're there and getting seen. We have a company, I tell you, they monitor, it's what they do professionally. I can see how many people view it.
Okay.
Instagram, all social media is a business now, and you have the ability to monitor it just like if you had a private communications business operating on TV with commercials. I mean, some of the stuff I put up, I pay for.
Okay, that's better than I thought, but still,
Yeah.
it's still a problem, the bias.
Well, the bias isn't going to be what I put up. The bias is going to be what other people put up, or what potentially Facebook is encouraging.
Right.
Here's the thing. I don't doubt there is bias, but I don't personally spend my time and the party's time worrying about confronting the bias as much as confronting the need to get my message out. If my message encounters a bias, I will fight back. I have attorneys, I'll fight back. But I have not actually, I'm just saying I have not experienced that. I've had a favorable interaction. And in terms of Instagram, Instagram is, hold on a second, I'm going to shut this off.
Okay.
There was Congressman Katko trying to explain something. Okay, which is fine, he's a good man.
Say hello
I just,
to him. No, man,
I was watching you on Facebook, you won't on the phone.
he could be. No, but no. We have a lot of good members of Congress. We have the Republican conservatives. But so I have a company I work with in D.C. Brandbender Cox. They actually done some very, very detailed analysis on social media issues. And the issue, really, to some degree, the issue is who's consuming the stuff. Certain younger consumers want what is much more liberal content. And since Facebook is a commercial enterprise, it's not a government enterprise and it's not a not-for-profit, it's a commercial enterprise, you do see a certain delivery more of what the appetite is of the audience.
Well, that gets to what I'd like to suggest. Up until the 90s, the whole standard media, old-fashioned media, was all liberal. We know that. Times, Washington Post, all the networks. And then Roberta comes along and found Fox News Channel and blasts the top. Now, this great, powerful voice of conservative media is reaching conservative listeners and viewers. Why couldn't someone do the same thing in social media? Someone find a conservative form of Facebook?
Well, if somebody has the investment type money to do it, they could, because any place, in America, if you have money and want to invest it and can make money, you'll do it, right? So, I mean, your statement is valid. I doubt there's someone that's being told you're not allowed to make money. And remember, the internet, even though Al Gore didn't want it this way when he invented it, the internet really is a free means to communicate. Facebook is a platform on the internet.
Right.
Facebook is not, and I will tell you this, there have been other platforms that have been developed, and you've seen them, and they've come and gone over the years to communicate. Remember, Facebook was not the first social media network we dealt with. Not MySpace, like you said, MySpace.
Friendster.
I mean, I'm not sure what the deal is with LinkedIn anymore. I use LinkedIn, but there have been other things. The thing about Facebook is it was more fun. But Facebook also, people, what do you say? If you're under 35, you may maintain a Facebook account, but I don't know of anybody under the age of 35 that essentially looks at their Facebook account more than maybe once a week or two. Once every other week. Instagram is what they look at, and they look at it every day. And Snapchat is how they, communicate. But I'm just saying to you that, Facebook has got its followers, they're billions, they have, their stock investment has had a downward turn for the last about a year and a half. It really, since the last presidential, Facebook's had some investment issues. Zuckerberg has lost billions of dollars, but of course if you're worth 100 billion and you're now only worth 60, it's all relative, right?
Yeah.
But the point is that there are people moving away from that platform, and maybe it'll be an opening.
An opening for someone to do a Fox News channel of
Right, but I'm going to say this with all honesty, this is going to be a conservative party. So
Okay.
I have enough. I gotta get the 10,000 together to
No, I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
Baby steps.
Yes, I want to say that we need more, this is not just conservative versus Democrat. This is about, Western civilization in the United States versus civilization jihad. And we have to be, I'm a tree hugger, try to be vegan, I believe in all these things. And we have to be a grassroots, organization to show that it's not that we are against, that we are, a lot of things, animals are being extinct, but we have to be stronger. This is about our civilization, our freedom to be able to, like if somebody creates or invents something that would get rid of plastic bags, and that's capitalism too, because they created an idea.
Well, I mean, you're correct, but let me just say,
And
there is existing technology to recycle styrofoam economically.
But it's being.
Let me just finish my point. This was presented to the New York City Council multiple times by multiple people before the City Council decided to ban all forms of styrofoam,
Right.
indicating that it could be economically recycled. The technology existed, and there were commercial companies doing it that wanted to come into the city. These New York City Council members are just trying to make a liberal, far-left point at the expense of a product that, personally, I prefer not to drink out of a styrofoam cup. But, look at some of these restaurants that put their products in styrofoam. What are they? They're going to drive up the cost of the product. You and I both know that paper bags, which we're going to be returning to, are fester bugs.
Yes.
I remember, I'm old enough to remember, I'm 60 years old, I'm old enough to remember how you would find a roach or something at the bottom of a paper bag. You don't find them at the bottom of plastic bags.
Right.
Do I believe that plastic bags should be recycled? Do I believe that one needs to be more careful with the environment? As I said, I consider myself an environmentalist. Absolutely, but to my earlier point, you have to balance this against what you just did. You have to balance the bad against the good, and in my view, you would have come to the conclusion that plastic bags should not have been banned. You probably needed to take some action, but they should not have been banned. So,
But I'm saying that under capitalism, it gives people in this country creative ideas. If you're under a suppressed socialist or communist government, you are suppressed. Like, I believe in alternative medicine. They want everybody should be on the same kind of medicine. They won't allow you to choose your doctors. And I would never go to, I only go to a holistic dentist. But under these